What's going on? Cole Connor here. Today, I want to talk about with the boy, the kid, the man. He's gained some weight. He's getting buff. No, he's gained some muscle. PATx. He's here today. We're here to talk about music marketing in 2021. I've had him on. I'm joking. I have gum. It's fine. It's a blooper. All right. No, I've had him on the podcast a couple times, and I wanted to make a whole separate video just kind of talking about music marketing because he is one of the only other artists that I know that I feel like is on the pulse of music marketing. And I would like to think that I am too, but to be honest, he's a little bit more on the pulse. Yeah. He's done a lot of testing with a lot of different things. And when we released the TCAP album, I think you particularly probably learned some more stuff. But really, just going into 2021, I want to know from your perspective, and we can kind of go back and forth, what are you looking at are going to be like some of the top strategies for musicians, but specifically artists? No, not artists, rappers.
Yeah, so I think like the biggest thing I noticed, and even some of the issues that I've had or everybody can kind of relate to, is one, getting over that hump when you're ready to like invest like money, you know what I mean, into your craft. Because I feel like there's like people that are good, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one tier of everybody's trying to rap or do music. It's like, so if you're good, that's one tier. If you have visuals, that's another tier. If you're like consistent, that's another tier. And then whenever you put money behind it, that's like, okay, like you're legit about this, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think using that like effectively and consistently is the problem. So of course you have to like put out content and stuff consistently, but you also need to find a consistent way to like, you know, let your money and your time work for you. So a lot of times we'll like slave to come up with a budget, and then we'll put it into this thing and it doesn't work. Or we'll put it into this thing, ooh, that works, now let me scramble to find like another thing that works or doesn't work, versus like finding that one like blueprint that you can scale and do in perpetuity. And then like, you know what I mean, if you put $10 into it, you get this result. So you know that if you put $100 into it, you get this result. If you put 1,000, whatever the case may be. So that's something that I've been trying to learn, and I'm getting a little bit closer to figuring out.
So what specifically though, like so you're pretty much saying that you need to budget and test in a way? Like you need to make sure you have a budget, and then you have to keep testing until you figure out what works.
Yeah, it's like it's the same things that we hear like all the time whenever we Google shit. It's like, find your niche. And you're like, yeah, I know my niche, whatever. But like literally like finding your niche, like it's actually that simple sometimes. So like I've had like dope songs that I didn't have when I was testing. Like this niche didn't work, showed the exact same ad to like this niche, and like I capitalized on it, you know what I mean? So like finding like your target audience, and a lot of times it's kind of hard because you might think that it looks like this, but the numbers will show you that it's actually this, you know what I mean? So yeah, finding your target audience is really difficult. A lot of people don't like brand themselves, therefore it's hard to find their target audience. Because they just rap, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's a lot of parts.
It really is a big conversation. I know I just dove in. But so like with music marketing in general, what I'm learning more about and what you've helped me learn about, I feel like, is like Spotify stuff. And that was something that I wasn't very familiar with. I did like Submit Hub and things like that before, with some success, but not really like, you know, enough to do anything. But what I'm finding, like, what are some of the specific avenues? So, like, what I know of is, you know, you have Spotify, and then you have people do playlisting, where you can pay to be on playlists.
Right.
Then you have Facebook ads, which you've also talked to me a little bit about, and that is like a monster within itself. I mean, it's a huge thing, and it's very time consuming, especially if, I mean, there's so many things that go into it. But then you have, you know, Instagram, obviously, but that kind of coincides with Facebook ads similarly. Then you have regular content, and those are the main things that I've talked to you about, I feel like. Is there anything else outside of those? Really, it's two avenues. I know there are some other ones, but like what are you doing outside of those two?
So I've been using a kind of third party or like mediator called ToneDen. Essentially you're still using, the Facebook's platform and their ad, man, whatever you want to call it. But ToneDen, so basically, like, okay, so you have Facebook ads, right? But my problem with Facebook ads was like some of those, whenever you're trying to figure out who you want to target, like some of those options aren't there. So like my music's very niche, so some of my similar artists wouldn't be accessible on Facebook
because they're not big enough,
right? Like and even some of them are huge and they're still not necessarily accessible. So like it's easy to like target J. Cole fans because you type in J. Cole and that's an option, you know what I mean? But like Ghostmane or like Scarlord or you know what I mean, some of those like more niche artists, they won't show up. And so then I turned to Spotify, because Spotify, at first their minimum budget to like run a Spotify ad was like ridiculous, so therefore it was only accessible to like big labels or people with big budgets. But then they made their minimum like $250 to make it a little bit more accessible to independent artists. So I was like, all right. So I slid $250 to do the Spotify ad. Fucking sucked. But I did the Spotify ad because you could target Spotify accounts. So all of those artists that were similar to me, I could actually like type in, you know what I mean? So I thought it would be beneficial. Fucking sucked. What
were the results of something like that? And what was an ad? Was like just a song playing?
So first of all, it was an ad to the free version of Spotify because the premium doesn't have ads. Right? So that should have been the first red flag. The second one, it's like an audio based ad. So if you're on a desktop, it would show like the graphic, but a lot of people aren't listening on desktops, and if they are, it's like in a playlist in the background while they're doing some other shit. And so I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know I could have like walked around here and got the same like results. It was bad. And so ToneDen I like because as a third party, you utilize Facebook and Instagram ads, but you also have the Spotify, like you can search the user pages on Spotify. So it performs. You get I'll show it to you. I'm actually about to email them today and be like, hey, you got a referral program or whatever the case may be. But super successful with that. So you're using Facebook and Instagram ads, but you also have access to Spotify's artists.
Is that expensive, or is it like how does the payment work?
So basically you pay to like have access to like their platform or whatever, and then whatever your ad budget is just comes out of like your pocket, you know what I mean? So the same way you would run a Facebook ad, and if you did $5 a day or whatever the case may be, like that's your money, you know what I mean? You still do that, but you also pay to have access to their platform and whatnot. But yeah, I totally forgot what the original question was. But
it was outside.
Outside of all the stuff we talked about.
Yeah, outside of like pretty much just Facebook and Spotify. And so you're saying ToneDen helps with that,
right?
But I'm also wondering, is there any other? I mean, I know there's other like advertising in general. You can do tons of shit.
The thing about that is like, so like numbers are important, but there has to be like a holistic avenue, you know what I mean? So like the TCAP project, for example, like we did playlisting, we have like good analytics, people, you know what I mean, like the songs and whatnot, but our listeners don't reflect our following, you know what I mean? And so it's important to
what does that mean? What do you mean by that?
So like we have, I think our peak was like 8,000 monthly listeners, right? Because we're doing our playlisting and whatnot, but we have like 30 something followers.
Got it.
You feel me? So
your Spotify followers.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So it's important, especially from an algorithmic perspective and just overall having a fan base, to make sure that you kind of find like the middle ground, you know what I mean? Like don't put a big ass budget in the playlisting just so you can have like crazy numbers for that month or whatever, and then the in between.
So what should the breakdown be? Because that's also what I've been thinking about, is like how much, like if I've got, let's just say $10,000.
If you have $10,000
and the album's done, videos are done, it's just advertising.
Okay, so you need. Here's what I would do. I would have some type, and let's just say $10,000 wasn't even the budget. Okay. I would have something in the background that's always working towards growing my following, right? So
on
if it's
Spotify
like,
and Instagram and Facebook.
And that's another thing, like pick one thing, you know what I mean? That way
Okay.
you're not wearing yourself thin. Because if you're fucking doing that for YouTube and Instagram and Spotify, like you're gonna go bankrupt, you know what I mean?
True.
So like whatever your priority is, we're artists, so like maybe we should do Spotify because one, the music is a foundation. Two, eventually like Spotify is going to passively put money into your pocket because of streams, right? You're not gonna make money off of Instagram unless you sell something, right?
Yeah. Are you seeing? I want to continue that question, but also, are you seeing you're making money from the streams that you're playlisting on?
I make a little under $1 a day, which is like scalable. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna pay my rent right now, but I can add a 0 to that in 2 years and add
That's
another
solid,
0
yeah.
to it, and then you're good. You know what I mean?
So you feel like the money that you're spending on playlisting, no, though it's not profitable right now, it is working.
On playlisting, no, and that's what I was getting.
Oh shit.
So you want to grow your following, right? That way, when you drop a song, you're not starting at 0. So like,
Got it.
I'm trying to think of an analogy. Let me think.
Okay.
Okay, so like, let's say like you have a bunch of people like building a house, right? Like your dream house or whatever. I think it would be dumb to focus all your time and your money on the interior design, and then once like the living room's designed interiorly, if that's a word, then you work on like the bricks and stuff. You know what I mean? But you don't want to sit there and wait until all the bricks are laid and stuff to start doing the creative shit on the inside. You know what I mean?
Do it all.
So maybe you need to have something that's laying a brick or two a day while you focus your attention on like the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
you
I
do
guess
both at the same time.
you can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
But the brick foundation is like the important part, right?
Yeah.
Because once you're done with all the interior shit, you might decide that you want to redesign, and that might be your next album. You know what I mean?
that's
But it
true.
would suck if you went through 3 different designs of the interior and your shit still doesn't have a roof. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so foundation first is probably
right. So like building up those followers, and then you're not starting from 0 whenever you drop something. So like if I have 2 fucking followers, I drop a song, now I have to be dependent on playlisting, right? And then after 2 weeks, when that shit's not on the playlist anymore, then I'm back to no fucking listeners. Versus if I'm building that foundation, I could have 1,000 Spotify followers, right? In like 1 or 2 months, if I'm adamant about it, drop a song, it naturally gets like 200-300 streams, and then that playlisting should just be like a boost, you know what I mean? Like that launch, that straight out of the gate, like here's the song, and then everything else should kind of be like trickle down and then natural whatever.
You don't think if you have the budget though, you should continuously be playlisting?
I think it just depends. Like if you drop 3 songs and naturally, I don't know, 3 of them, I was about to say naturally, 3 of them, 3 out of the 3 of them. If you drop 3 songs, 2 of them did like 100 plays, but the third one did like 400 plays, then it'd probably be smart to like put that one on a playlist. If you know that if you do a $40 playlist, that's gonna get you about 1,000 streams, right? But instead you do 5,000 streams, okay, do another playlist, you know what I mean? And like keep pushing that. Because the market at that point, the market's kind of telling you like, yo, like this is a good song, you need to push it, you know what I mean? But you shouldn't like playlist it to be dependent on those numbers, because they're not doing anything for you. It's almost like it's like going to like a fast food place instead of like buying groceries, I guess, you know what I mean? Because
so even though you're technically making money, you're just spending way more than you're making.
Right, because
And you're not building true followers, just people who listen to your music.
Right, I dropped $50 on that playlist. I got 1,000 plays, so I made like maybe $3 or $4 back.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever I could build my followers, right, for probably, I don't know, roughly the same amount. But every time I drop now, it gets 200 and 300, so that's $1. And so eventually, let's say like I put $50 into a Spotify playlist, right? So $50 negative, right? I made 5 back quickly or whatever.
45 meg.
Or I could put 50 into Spotify followers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, let's just say that gets me like 50 Spotify followers or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I can make $1
Yeah.
off of that song.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can upload that song, another song, make $1. I can upload another song, make $1. You know what I mean?
It makes way more sense. What it reminds me of is this company I told you about briefly, Indepreneur. I don't know if you ever checked them out.
Mm-hmm.
This dude he's an artist, and he decided to make a company and study all the same shit that we're studying, but he actually made it like a platform and all these things. And you can pay, you know, like, I think it's like $30 a month to have access to all these courses that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main things that he talks about is having a fan finder campaign, which is pretty much what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you run a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad or a Google ad or whatever it is, and you just consistently run that for a long period of time, and then you get your like lookalike audiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see who's going to your website or who's checking out the video, who's adding to your email list, who's commenting, etc. That's how you figure out who your audience is.
Right.
And then once it's time to actually release something, you have all these audiences created.
Exactly.
That I thought was like, I mean, it's common sense kind of, you'd think. But when you're an artist, you're just like, I just made this album and I just want to put it out, and yeah.
And the thing, like, that's why people get like so kind of caught in the playlisting, because I almost fell in that hole too. It's like we've worked like so hard and like kind of drooled over this idea of doing numbers, and like playlisting like satisfies that urge of like, and that like gratitude of like opening up that song and seeing the numbers beside it, but like you're not growing that way. And that kind of like blinds you, and it doesn't really like, it kind of blinds you from realizing like where you're actually at, you know what I mean? Because now it's like, fuck, you have to do a playlist every time to get like those numbers, and that's almost like how you view your foundation now. So like now every time you drop a song, you got to put at least $50 in the playlist, and versus like realistically every time you drop you do 100, 200, you know what I mean?
I would much rather do that,
right?
And I get down when people's like Spotify things come out, because I did that one time. I pushed it, and I just didn't feel good about it because of that reason. I was just like,
it's like, a playlist like hell. That's not like whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it but then you see, I saw someone locally who, that I don't look at them as any bigger than me or you. I think they're a band, but 500,000 streams. And it just, and like one person likes the post or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and everybody playlists, so it's not like a facade per se, but like a lot of people look at other artists' things and be like, oh shit, they're getting that. They're just getting that, and I'm playlisting and only getting this. Like everybody's doing some type of like growth tactic. Like nobody's just uploading shit and then it does crazy. And like, you know what I mean? Like even your biggest artists have marketing budgets. You know what I mean?
Millions
of
dollars, I imagine.
Exactly. So it's not, I don't know. And I think a good testament is like what's going on recently. J. Cole's uploading all of his biggest songs like hours apart, like the music videos on YouTube, and you can see like the difference between the numbers as far as like an official release and the numbers of him just like uploading, you know what I mean? It's still like big numbers, but it's drastically different, right? So like 2 million views on like his last music video versus some shit he just uploaded hits like 100,000. That's a huge difference. And in comparison, that's the same difference of your one post breaking 100 likes and then the other one doing 10. Like it's literally the same like incremental difference. You just think about it differently. So I don't know.
So if followers, gaining followers in whatever capacity, and people talk about email lists a lot, and that's I've heard about, or I've known about it for a long time. Just in business, I know it's very powerful, but I also know in artistic stuff, like music stuff, it's important too. But it's just about setting up those like processes and systems.
Right. And it's just like doing it now versus like, I mean, now that I'm starting to like figure shit out, I'm just like, duh, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's all the shit that you've been told. It just has been in like a whole bunch of different formats, or like you're just like stubborn about it. You don't like really understand the importance. It's almost like I don't know, when your parents like said something about cooties, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, whatever. And then you grow up and realize like that's literally like STDs and STIs. Like that's literally what they're talking about, you know what I mean? And the importance of avoiding cooties, you know?
I never thought about it like that.
I mean, it's kind of like the similar format, like shit that your parents used to say to you that you would kind of like brush off, and now you realize like, oh, that's kind of like a big deal.
It's kind of like laziness too, I think. It's like you're like, nah, I don't have to do all that. Like, nah.
And kind of a thing that you said to me a long time ago, I don't know exactly how you phrased it, but like there's people that'll do like the hard groundwork of like, oh, let me hit up 100 people and maybe get 10 of them to fuck with you, versus like, no, you send one email to like the big company, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how you phrase that, but
I could see myself saying something like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of the difference between I don't know, because I feel like the thing that deters people from like building an email list is this idea that you have to like message a whole bunch of people and like what's your email and like collect one email a day or blah blah blah. But there's a whole bunch of different systems and ways that you can go about like collecting a whole bunch of emails.
Yeah, from actually people who want to be on your list.
Yeah, like growing your followers, and not in the sense of like everybody just wants to do shit the quick way. And there's a difference between doing shit the quick way and doing shit the effective way. You know what I mean? Like you messaging 10 people every 10 minutes and getting one email, like that's not the most effective way. You running that campaign to actually target people that actually fuck with you and getting like 10,000 people every hour or whatever. That could be anywhere in the world. Like that's effective. But you doing this playlisting thing on this very broad playlist, you know what I mean, cool hip hop, like, you know what I mean, that's too broad, and getting 10,000 plays
with tons of other
and 2 followers, you know what I mean, that's not effective. But that's the quick way, that's the easy way.
It's just
finding that
fake.
middle ground.
So it sounds like ultimately moving, and I say like marketing for 2021, but it probably won't change that much obviously from like this year, but it's creating the right, not the easy, but the ones that process and a system that makes sense, where you're constantly building that foundation. Because if you're gonna be an artist, it's not gonna be a quick thing, most likely, unless you're lucky, which could be, probably not. This is like, if you wanted to be a career and you're 20 years old, you're 18 years old, you got, I mean, let's just say 30 years. You wanted to be a career, so you need to set something up that's gonna, help you that.
Right, and it doesn't even have to be like an extended, like long period of time. It's like it's a balance between time and money. It's like, okay, if you want to have a big ass following in like a week, then your budget per day is gonna have to be like $1,000.
Yeah.
Can you afford $1,000 a day? No. Then you probably need to do it over the course of a year for $5 a day.
And you still have to do it right, or you waste the money. That's the hardest part. Is I was looking at how much I've spent. And it's really not that much compared to some people, but I've spent like $6,000 in the past like 3 or 4 years, which, it's not a terrible amount, but it just reminded me how much I've been testing things and trying to figure things out. But then a lot of times I still just like, I want to boost the post for like $10 rather than getting specific and,
and realizing like in the grand scheme of things, like that's not a lot. And like, think about what you're asking for too. Like the type of career and the life that you want. If you want to make M's, then you're gonna have to put several $1,000s in.
Every artist, every label has to put that much in, no matter who they are.
You're not gonna be a multi-million-dollar artist if you put $10 behind your release.
Yeah,
like that's just like.
Which is why, for me personally, it all comes down to money
and time. If you don't have one, then you need to have the other.
That's true.
If you can't pay an automated thing to reach out to these people and show them your ad, then you better hit that hashtag section and do it yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's true.
And if you don't have like a huge budget and you can only do $1 a day or whatever the case may be, just understand that's going to take more time than if somebody had 1,000 a day. They could get it done in a weekend. You might have to get it done in a month. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like I said, it's not like it takes necessarily. Sometimes it does take several years depending on what you're trying to build, you know what I mean? But as far as like growing a Spotify or like growing your page or something like that, you just have to have like a really good ad, a really targeted market. You know what I mean? Like a niche.
Okay, so last thing I want to talk about is I'm sure there's tons of like there's avenues like people you can do YouTube ads, you can do Google search ads. There's tons of things. I don't know. I've heard YouTube ads are actually really powerful, but I don't know. But one thing I want to ask you about, Pat, and I did this with 2 singles that came out in 2019. Instagram like posts on Instagram pages. Like paying for someone to be like, yo, South Carolina artist PATx just dropped blah 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 blah, and then they post like the video. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like a shout, not a shout out. But
I got a little bit of results from that on Instagram. But I don't know how I felt about it.
So
really.
Disclaimer, and this is probably something I should have said from the jump. I don't have anything figured out. I just try a lot.
Yes, me too.
So yeah, I'm not like super savvy in Facebook ads or super savvy with music marketing. Like I just try a whole lot of stuff, and these are some of the things that have like definitively worked for me. So as far as like story posts and like getting like bigger Instagram pages to like post you, I haven't done that or Facebook. I haven't done that in a while, but anytime I did, it just didn't like work well for me. The one time it did work and it was such a good feeling because it was the first time I tried it and I didn't really know shit about Instagram. It's when the Beg Your Pardon music video came out, and I paid a page to post it, and I took a nap, and I woke up to Alan calling me. He was like, yo, you're kind of blowing up on Instagram right now. And I checked my phone, and it was just hella notifications.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Mad
the best
DMs,
feeling.
mad follows. And like apparently that page, whenever he posted stuff, will usually do like 2 or like 8K and like a couple comments, blah, 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 blah. My shit did like 35, like 40K.
Hell yeah.
And then I didn't even like share like where they could find it or anything like that, but like it went up like 6,000 plays on SoundCloud. On YouTube it went up like 6K, so like that was like
that's a good feeling.
The best experience I had as far as doing that. But it's the same thing with like playlisting. You gotta find like a page that's like, because a lot of the hip-hop pages are just like, you know what I mean, very like broad hip-hop, you know, so same results you would get from playlisting, you would get similar results from that page, unless it just coincides with your niche like really, really well. You know?
I find that I gained like some artist fans, which is interesting. It's just like a bunch of fucking artists. And then they're like, dude, you're dope, bro. You're dope.
It's like, hey, I was posted on here too.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's awesome whenever it's awesome and kind of like not backhanded from the other artists, but like I don't know, just somehow there's something backhanded about like whenever you're reaching out to fans and like the fans are so like passive, but the artists that are doing the exact same thing to reach those fans are like reaching out to you the way that you would want the fan to.
Exactly.
So it's like we're all in this together. How are we supporting each other more than fuckers?
I feel like it's kind of, or this takes me back to like the money thing too, because there are some that I feel like would have been more beneficial, but they just, when I reached out to them, there was like $1,000, $2,000.
Like World Star?
You told me, World Star.
It was like 3 stacks.
Yeah, like that would obviously benefit you in some way, most likely.
Yeah, maybe, but like at the same, I don't know. It just like depends. Like that's like a toss up too. Or like that guy I told you when Trippie Redd like shouted him out. He doesn't do anything, and he's at like 20K. And he was at 2K, and I just kept refreshing his shit and like watching it climb. You know what I mean? And then I've seen like
he paid Trippie Redd.
It was like his cousin or something. He was like, hey, this is my cousin. And then his shit just like took off. But I've also seen like some people get posted on World Star
flop.
And like I'll go to their page, and like of course they grew some followers, and like their most recent post has like 700 comments or whatever, but as soon as you go further and further down, it just trickles back to normality or whatever. Or they'll jump on like their Instagram live and it'll be like 500 people like watching, and then I'll peep it the next day and then it's down to like 10 again, or whatever the case may be. So it's just a matter of like what you're putting out there, you know what I mean? Yeah, I would much rather invest like 3 bands into like the fan finder or whatever than dropping on World Star.
I think that's the key, is because you're actually building an audience of people that fuck with you that you can then reach out to in the future.
Because the best thing for World Star is like the fact that mad like people that are in the positions that you want to be in are also watching, you know what I mean? Like World Star has like millions of followers and stuff like that, so that's great. But among those millions of followers are like mad artists, mad like celebrities and stuff like that. But
couldn't the right person see you? That's what I used to think about too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be the reason, benefit, but that's still like a toss up.
Yeah, you have no idea.
If you know what I mean? If you found like a legit marketing like method, then you could say like, hey, $3,000 will get me to this number of followers or whatever the case may be, versus like, let me invest these 3 bands and like cross my fingers, because those celebrities like might love your shit, but what can they do for you?
Yeah,
you know
they might just
some
be
of them
like,
might be tied up in
good
like
shit, bro, but
like contracts and this, that, and the third. Like there's probably mad artists there that like fuck with you, but just can't do shit with you.
Yeah, or just don't.
You're
feel
not
like
part of that label, or like there's nothing that you can do for them, or whatever the case may be. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's just a slippery slope.
All right, we're ending on that. It's a slippery slope. I just wanted to have a conversation with Pat because he's tested a lot of stuff. I've tested a lot of stuff. We're not experts on it by any means, but I think if you take some of the things we said, it could definitely benefit you. And if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And if there's anything specific that you may want either of us to dive into in the future, let me know. All right. Yeah.
Every day I wake up with a vision, cooking in the kitchen, ain't no fucking in a mission. Like yo, shaking up your city with my bitchin', sold in the building and the motherfucker fizzing. Like whoa, cold won't stop till they get that gold. Cold won't stop till you sing my song all the way home. Do it 'cause I said so.